All right, so I'm just going to take about 10 minutes or so because I know everybody's excited to go play on the beach this beautiful day. But I wanted to tell you all a little bit about our journey to choosing YokoVillage as our place to live and why we made that decision. So my first trip to Costa Rica was about 8 years ago on a volunteer trip, and it was a really magical experience, and it kind of kicked off my love of travel. And about a year after that, I met my partner, Jason, and since then, we've been traveling the world together. We've been to a lot of really amazing places and had some great adventures, met a lot of wonderful friends, and of course, there's a ton of really cool places in the world, but Costa Rica just really had a special place in my heart. And when I tried to explain that to some of my friends and family back home, they would be like, well, what's so special about Costa Rica? Like, why? And one of the reasons that I gave them is that Costa Rica is obviously full of amazing landscapes and biodiversity, wonderful culture, a lot of pluses here. But the biggest thing was that they're not making any more Costa Rica. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of other places where you can find amazing landscapes, different types of animals. But the thing that I found really special about Costa Rica is that the local community, the government, and the people that visit this country are all really interested and passionate about protecting these things. And that's something that I haven't seen in very many other places. So that's one thing that really made it feel special. And when I travel, I kind of think, what's this place going to be like in 2, 5, 10, 20 years? And when it comes to Costa Rica, I believe it's still going to be beautiful. So why didn't we just up and move to Costa Rica if we knew that we liked it so much? Well, as our careers and our family grew and evolved, we had a lot of kind of more logistical things that we were looking for in a place more than just it's magical. So I wanted to give you guys a little insight into what that looked like for us. So we actually put together a list, over time it grew, of the things that we were looking for in a more permanent home. And we were looking for a more permanent home because we would travel and we'd go back to our home base in Atlanta, and it just didn't feel like a good fit for us. And so as we traveled, the list grew, and a lot of these things we could find in a lot of different places, but we were really struggling to find the place that was the right fit for us. So especially after we had our daughter, places like places that had natural spaces, clean air, that were safe, had educational options, those things became more important to us as well. Now, Costa Rica fits a lot of the bill on these things, but the internet, great internet and professional workspaces, it wasn't making the mark. And those were absolutely mandatory for us. And so we were kind of like, yeah, Costa Rica's a nice place to take a vacation and get away from it all. But we probably can't live there until we're retired because we're just not able to do the main things that we need to do in our businesses at that time. So there were those things, but on top of that, we also knew that we wanted a place to live long term, and we wanted it to make sure that it was a good investment for us as well. And we have some other property investments that have done really well for us, and we wanted to make sure that anywhere that we were going to invest in, that not only we wanted to live there, but that it was going to have good returns. So that was just one more thing on this list. Then we realized that we were missing another thing, and that was community. Back in our home in Atlanta, we actually had a lot of these things, maybe not all of them, but we did not feel like we had community there. And as we were traveling, we found friends along the way, but it was always migratory, and so we wanted a place that had a community instead of having to always move around. And what we had before was kind of like this. This is kind of just a random suburban neighborhood in America. And when I see a picture like this, I kind of feel like the most communication I'll probably have with my neighbor is when they come and knock on my door to tell me I planted the color of flowers that are not on the approved flower list. So I knew that we weren't looking for something like this. So we had to really think about what are we looking for, because there's a lot of different types of communities and it means a lot of different things to different people. And so we actually had to put together another list. So we decided we're looking for a community with interesting people. Has anyone here talked to someone with an interesting story this week? All right, and we wanted to have a community where people actually want to have relationships with each other, which means one of those things is actually wanting to hear, how was your day? We wanted to be around people that had a variety of different experiences, abilities, and knowledge, people who were open-minded, driven to do big things, were innovative, and were passionate to make a positive change in the world. And like I mentioned, we wanted to have base in a geographical location rather than more of a virtual community. And finally, we didn't want to have to build this ourselves, as it's a big job. So we wanted a community leader that was going to encompass a lot of these values and that wanted to bring a community together. So thank you, LeRon, for taking the reins on that. I would not have taken that step on my own, and I really appreciate you in all the efforts that you've done to build this community. And the final thing that I wanted to mention was a big factor in why Yoko is a good fit for us as far as community is because it's in that early stage. I'm sure most of you that went out to look at the land on the tours could see that it's not all the way done, that there's still a lot to do, and it takes a lot of kind of imagination to envision this piece of jungle being your home. But one of the things that made me feel really good about that is obviously you're getting a better price and you're having a better selection of land. But as an earlier community member, I feel like I have an opportunity to help build this community. And I'm very excited to be a part of that and for all of you to be here this week to be a part of it with us. Thank you.